Hey everybody, welcome to another 10 at 10. We are here for August 19th of 2025. Here with my homie Brian.
Yeah, man. Let's do this thing.
Do this thing.
Good to have everybody here with us today. Welcome to the MrMaple Show. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. I know a lot of people that watch our channel aren't actually subscribed to the YouTube show. So make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's going to let you know when we upload our new videos, and we do a ton of them here on the MrMaple Show. Today we got the 10 at 10. We're going to do 10 trees that are going to be part of the list of 20 that we released today. And we're going to highlight some of the 10 of that we think you guys need to check out.
And don't forget, we have an upcoming open house coming up on Labor Day. Man, coming out, and I know this is usually the big one.
This is the big one.
To kind of towards the end of the year before we get into fall. But man, I know a lot of names out there already talking about coming. So make your plans now, get those hotel rooms, make those plans, and come see us.
Yeah, it'd be fun hanging out, man. The open houses are awesome. Everybody gets together, talks about their favorite plants. We go on, scavenger hunts throughout the greenhouses, try to find you guys some cool plants. But we got a great lineup for you guys today. Let's get right into it, Sean. We got Acer, buergerianum, Angyo weeping.
Man, we're talking trident maple, so we're talking about those textures out in the garden with those leaves. But what's cool about this is, man, there's a lot of trident maples out there, and there's trident maples that are known as street teas because they're heat tolerant. Absolutely. They can handle that full sun. But what's cool about this one, it's a weeper.
Yeah, this has got a great weeping cascading form to it. Now when these get some good size actually out in the garden too, they get out there pretty quickly, but you have a weeping form, so it's going to have a different form than your typical trident maple out in the landscape. But the branches on these get some really long, pendulous, hanging branches, especially once these get a good size. Just crazy texture, like you said, with that trident leaf. I think that really kind of breaks up the patterns in the garden to have different leaf styles out in your landscape. And with that weeping habit, it really plays into kind of just the scale of what this cultivar can do.
And then it'll bring you some cherry reds in that fall time that just will brighten up those fall colors. I mean, just an excellent choice for that landscape to add those colors, that texture. Angyo weeping, don't miss out.
Awesome tree.
Okay, guys, bringing you next the unofficial ghost in the Ghost series. We've got Acer palmatum, Ghost Dancer.
Yeah, man, Ghost Dancer. Really, really nice reticulated style Japanese maple. I really like the fact that it has almost like this kind of mint green, kind of like almost this like frosted mint green, and then with that dark vein reticulation to it, it is really nice on this cultivar.
Well, we're talking the king of reticulation, Talon Buchholz. He introduced this, but unofficial because it was one of his buddies that found this. But Talon introduced it to the trade as Ghost Dancer. And you know that Talon, as the king of reticulation, if he sees something, he's like, you know what, that's worthy, you've got a killer tree.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, when it comes to reticulated types, there's so many varieties of them out there, and you can always kind of just comb through that list of trees that are available. And I think Ghost Dancer kind of sets itself apart.
Yeah, Ghost Dancer, I mean, I think kind of what sets this apart as well from some of the other Ghost series stuff is that a lot of the other stuff that's in the Ghost series, they tend to lend themselves as more upright, semi-pendulous. This is one that seems to be more of an upright, not as pendulous, and it's a good size. It doesn't get too big in the garden.
Right.
It's kind of like your medium-sized tree in there, so you're not going to take up a lot of space. I mean, just a killer tree.
Yeah, man. Acer palmatum, Ghost Dancer. All right, guys. Coming up next here, man, we got a fan favorite. Everybody goes crazy when this thing comes available. We got Acer palmatum fairy hair.
Man, we always joke and give Tim a hard time because, he would describe this as it's like a tree that it's like a fairy with hair. And so we kind of like to joke with Tim, but, I get what he's going for. I get what he's trying to portray because it's one of those linear lobums, but it's probably one of the most stringy of all the linear lobums. And, with our pictures online, it's hard to get a true view. But seeing this in fall,
Yeah.
It puts off this red kind of rusty color, unlike anything else in the garden.
Really, really cool.
So you're talking texture, you're talking when the wind blows through it, and you're talking about colors in the garden. I mean, it's got everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a really cool cultivar. We're talking about Talon Buchholz's very first introduction into the nursery trade. Fairy hair, I've seen the one out at Buchholz Farm. It's a huge, huge specimen out there. You know, when you see them in these 1 gallons, it's hard to really understand kind of, you know, what they can do in the landscape, but they provide such a unique shape and texture with that really, really fine thread leaf. I mean, this is the finest of the linear lobum styles that you're going to find out there. And like you said, the fall color on this thing is absolutely amazing.
And I've seen people mistake this, especially when you get into fall. People mistake this for a conifer because there's no way that foliage could be a Japanese maple. But we're talking about Acer palmatum. So
yeah, definitely. I love how, you know, some of these maples kind of breaks all the rules, gives you a vibe that most people are not going to recognize as a Japanese maple. And definitely the linear lobum styles, especially fairy hair, really kind of takes you into a world I think a lot of people are unfamiliar with. So it's something kind of new and exciting when you put that texture out in your garden. Everybody's like, man, what in the world is that?
looks like hair on a fairy.
That's right, fairy hair.
Okay, guys, we're coming at you with Acer palmatum. Crimson Princess, not to be mistaken with any of the Crimson Prince,
Right.
not to be
Crimson Queen. Yeah.
We got Crimson Princess.
Yeah, this is a really cool lace leaf, guys. We've got some really nice size 1 gallons today. These are on a high graft, so you're getting a little bit of elevation to that weeping style Japanese maple. Crimson Princess is nice, man. You know, lace leaf Japanese maples are so popular, and I think everybody's kind of looking for something interesting, you know, a cultivar maybe that people hadn't heard of to put in their collection or out in their landscape. And I think Crimson Princess does that.
Yeah, this is a newer introduction out of New Zealand. And, you know, what I think is really interesting is that, you know, we talk about these, but this is one of those, what we're talking about, 3-4 foot tall in height, so it's a dwarf.
Yeah.
So this is one that's going to be one of those great places under a window, in those spots where you want something to take up some width, but you don't need that height.
Yeah, absolutely. I think great for container gardening. If you're wanting to put this in a patio, out on your deck, or you know, out by the fire pit, outside in the garden somewhere, definitely a cool application for that. I love the weeping styles because, you know, they're kind of a malleable tree. You can stake these, keep that staking going up, or you can just let that continue to weep. They all kind of have a unique style of structure whenever they get more grown, and it's interesting to see just how these lace leaves can just flow and mound and weep and cascade, and over time, man, they really just create a dynamic structure in the garden.
And then comparing them with the other ones, you know, in that same area, we're talking about their spring color being a lighter kind of red, a lighter pink, and then it gets its name, that crimson, when it goes back to that crimson color in the fall.
Yeah, great fall color on these, and especially for a lace leaf. You know, you have that finely dissected lace leaf, and then when it really lights up in the fall, I think it just makes the whole plant stand out even more. Great plant for that fall color. If you need a dwarf lace leaf, a great choice here with Crimson Princess. All right, guys, we got another great cultivar for you. Man, we've been hitting those Talon Buchholz introductions hard today. We got Acer palmatum Blonde Beauty.
Man, this one, you know, the reticulation on this, we like the flashy, and this is one of those that's going to help bring that flash, but it's going to bring that more of that blonde, hence the name, more of those yellows in the colors with this that are really going to stand out against that variegation, that reticulation in the leaf.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of part of that, what we kind of coined the new Ghost series out there. So another one of those reticulated types selected by Talon Buchholz. And you're right, this has kind of that more of that kind of blondish, kind of like softer pinks and yellow colors with a little bit of blushing over top of that reticulation. But even during this time of the year, the reticulation is still very strong. You can see the veining throughout the leaf. And I mean, I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things about this cultivar is its fall color, man. I mean, this thing really, really lights up with some bright cherry red colors in the fall. So, I mean, the combination between that showy spring and then that electric fall color, it's a great treat.
Yeah, you're looking, what, about 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. So it's not going to be one that's going to take up a huge spot in your landscape. And the foliage on this, I think, is a little different than some of the other Ghost series or the other reticulated series. Man, these leaves are just really, really cut.
Yeah, they do have some nice serrated edges on that. Kind of a larger leaf as well, too. So it's got a lot of substance as far as, you know, just what it looks like out in your garden. It really carries itself well in the landscape. But we got some great size 1 gallons of these today. We got some beautiful, beautiful blonde beauties for you guys.
Okay, guys, now we're coming at you with Acer palmatum Lemon Chiffon.
Man, check these out. We got some beautiful 2-gallon sizes here. Now, these are a low graft, staked, so you get some nice trunk movement. I love when these are staked like this, especially on a lace leaf. You have that nice kind of sweeping trunk movement to them. I think it just adds so much, you know, more dynamic when a lace leaf mounding, you know, weeping style Japanese maple is staked up tall.
Yeah, I mean, anything like that, anything that's malleable like that really allows you at home to kind of play with the shape yourself as well. You can kind of stake it up if you want higher. You can play with the branches and move them and stake them so that they grow a certain way. But what's really cool about this is another one of those that will be wider than it is tall. So another one of those for those spaces where you don't have the height, but you've got the width you want to fill. But what's I love about it is, man, that lemon.
Yeah.
It kind of stays on that lighter lime green, those yellows throughout the season before, I mean, even now we're in August and it still kind of has this kind of like light glow to it.
Yeah, it really does kind of set itself apart from some of the other lace leaves out there with that lighter, more chartreuse color. And it really does play into the yellows. That Lemon Chiffon name is very aptly named for this tree, because I have one of these planted in my garden, and right now, man, it's got this really beautiful yellow cast over the top of the leaves. That are on the very top of that, and everything else underneath is that bright green, chartreuse green. So it's just got a beautiful color and texture out in the garden for sure.
And these leaves as well are a little bit different than some of the other lace leaves. You know, very serrated, very cool, and almost kind of gives you a look, almost like there's kind of an edging on it. Not quite, there really isn't, but it kind of gives you a look like there is.
Yeah, you can get a little bit of a blushing on that too, especially if you give it out more in the sun. You can get kind of like an orange or a pink blush over top of that as well. That new growth is really nice in the summer months too, because it kind of gives you that reflush of that light yellow color, kind of reminding you what that name's all about. But another great lace leaf too for fall color. I mean,
absolutely,
fall color on lace leaves are just extraordinary, especially you get into that green realm. You get a lot of really nice oranges and yellows in the fall. So this thing is just really, really a great, like, multi-season interest plant.
It is, and it is one that you do want to keep in mind. Morning sun, afternoon shade. It does like that afternoon.
Yeah, check this out, guys.
Great sizes.
Huge sizes on these Lemon Chiffon. All right, guys, we got another beautiful, beautiful tree for you here. We got Acer palmatum Kurenai jishi.
Man, look at the sizes on these. These are ready for your landscape, ready for your garden. Man, we're talking Lion's Head family, Kurenai jishi, and it really does. Right now we're in that August point, and they've been in those greenhouses, so they've kind of greened out. But when, man, in spring, man, when it flushes out, it is that red with those kind of crinkly type leaves on them. I mean, if you got a Shishi Shigera or you're into the Lion's Head family, you got to complete it with Kurenai jishi.
Yeah, this is a beautiful dwarf Japanese maple. One of my favorites, honestly. I think I remember seeing this for the very first time, and I just couldn't really believe that it existed. I was like, because I was just getting into collecting, getting into those Lion's Head maples. I had the Ojishi, I had the Shishigashira, and then I'm like, there's a red lion? I mean, I got to have this for my collection. Really cool introduction though. I mean, this has got a really interesting leaf. It kind of has a curl and a ruffle to the leaf that gives you that kind of vibe that you get with like Shishigashira and some of those like Ojishi. But the color on it's crazy. I mean, to be able to get a red leaf in this style, I think is like, you know, in the upper echelon of what you could accomplish when it comes to, you know, the exploration of cultivar.
Right, and then once you get into that fall color, again, just like all the Lion's Head, you get into those reds and oranges.
Yeah.
You know, kind of on the orangey side with some tints of red on it. I mean, and we're also talking, these sizes are incredible.
They are, man. I tell you what, every time I set one of these 2 gallons up here, I'm just like, woo, man, it gets me excited, because I remember being on the other side of that screen as a MrMaple customer all those years, And anytime I can get my hands on a nice, good size of something, you know, especially on a dwarf like this, because Kurenai jishi, it takes a long time to get to this size. Very slow growing, very compact, dense habit on these. So to see one this size, it, you know, gets me excited, and hope you guys are getting excited too, man. Kurenai jishi.
Okay, guys, we are bringing you Acer japonicum.
Yeah.
Woods number 2, also known as Edwood.
That's right, man. Beautiful japonicum. Now this one here, like, this has one of the largest leaves, especially if you put this in some heavy shaded areas. If you play with the japonicums in that shaded garden, you can really accentuate that huge, like, tropical style leaf. This one definitely gets some of the largest leaves that I've ever seen on a japonicum. I had this planted in my garden in Oklahoma. It did really well, but I did have to protect this from the hot afternoon sun, being a japonicum, especially in the hot climates like that. But you really accentuate the characteristics of japonicums when you do put them in shade, and you don't lose anything either. You know, some cultivars, if you got a red or something like that, you don't want to put it too much shade, you kind of lose those colors. With japonicums being green, so in spring, I mean, these have a beautiful, luscious green color in spring, especially in that shade garden.
So what I find incredible, especially with these are going to ship in a long box. And these are 2 gallons. And how tall are you, Brian?
Yeah, I'm over 6 foot tall.
You're over 6 foot tall. And we list these trees as 8 to 10 foot tall
right.
in 10 years.
Right.
So you're talking about, man, you've got a landscape ready size tree in a 2 gallon. And like you say, those big leaves,
man,
give it that afternoon, you know, that protection from the afternoon sun. But you know what I really found with japonicums and stuff like that, man, if you can push it a little bit, you get this really cool kind of blushing on the leaves, around the perimeter of the leaves. But man, being a japonicum, man, you know, once fall hits, the show is on.
The show is on. I mean, japonicums are so famous for that fall color. They have that huge leaf, so that big canvas for that huge fall color. I just love what the japonicums bring to the landscape with that leaf texture. Some killer sizes, man. Huge.
Landscape ready.
Yeah, 2 gallons, staked up tall, well branched. Get you an Edwoods today. All right, guys, check this out. We got some beautiful 3 gallon size Acer palmatum Twombly's Red Sentinel.
Man, I love this tree, man. There's so much that you could do in the landscape with these, because it's going to stay tighter and be that columnar tree, but it's going to be tighter and, you know, straight up and down.
Yeah.
So you can fit those like tight corners between like the turns of your houses,
right,
or anything in your garden. Adds vertical interest. Man, look at them popping with that red on top.
Woo.
And this is one, being in the greenhouses and this time of year have gone red, but man, Twombly's, man, they do pretty good holding those reds.
They do.
In those, you know, spots in your garden through the year.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one that can handle full sun. This is a great heat tolerant plant. And really, when you put this in more sun, you actually get more of the characteristics that you want to get out of Twombly's. It's going to stay tighter, denser, fuller, and also a little more narrow. If you give it in more shade, you can kind of have more of a spreading habit to it. It gets a little wider than it does when it's out in full sun. But definitely in the sun too, you really pick up and hold those red colors a little bit better into the summer months. As you can see, these have greened out, but you get that new summer growth popping over top of that, man. Kind of lets you remember what spring was like.
Right.
You know, that new growth flush over top. And then crazy fall colors in the end, man. Blazing crimson reds on this thing. I love the broom Japanese maples, man. They have such a unique texture.
And I love these. Like with this is one we talk about plants that to pair with.
Yeah.
And pair it with another one of these.
Yeah.
Because you could use these at the beginning of an entrance and kind of have them off to the side, and you walk in between them, because they have that really straight, tight columnar shape.
Yeah, definitely gives you some vertical interest in the garden. We talk about that a lot. Just kind of using different styles of plants to create dimension and levels in your garden. I think Twombly's Red Sentinel is a perfect cultivar for that. I mean, just a great super heat tolerant, great red, upright, kind of that shorter and denser habit, which fits in a lot of spaces in the garden.
And great 3 gallon sizes to get you started.
Right here, Twombly's Red Sentinel. Woo, look at the size of this, guys. We got a beautiful 7-gallon size here. We got Acer palmatum, Oshio beni.
Man, I mean, just look at that, man. That is magnificent. I almost think I want to go home with this myself. Man, I've got a perfect place for it. But we're talking about, we're getting into those reds.
Yeah.
Man, and talk about one, man. This one, they're saying, can get up to 20 foot.
Yeah, so this can get...
It can get up there. So you're talking about one of those that's going to be red, give you a killer fall show. But man, we always talk about these small dwarfs and stuff like that, man. This is one of those, let it get big, and then you can plant your dwarfs underneath it. Right. Use this as kind of like a shade tree.
Absolutely, yeah. I love how Japanese maples can provide so many different aspects to your garden. And thinking about this as a shade tree, you know, you don't typically think of Japanese maples as shade tree, but when you plant like dwarf Japanese maples around some of these larger size Japanese maples, you can definitely use them for shade trees. Now this is going to leaf out a beautiful dark red color in the spring, kind of giving more of like these rusty orange red tones in the summer. I grew one of these in Oklahoma, very heat tolerant plant as well. I grew this in full sun in Oklahoma and it did very well for me. Very strong grower, like we talked about, it can get up to 20 feet. And really nice shape and form to it as well.
And the leaves as well. I mean, that serrated leaf that's on it, almost kind of from a distance will almost kind of give you kind of a lace leafy kind of feel to it from standing back. But I mean, you're just talking about what's really cool is, man, we're talking about 1800s. This is a cultivar that from Japan from the 1800s. So you know, man, it stands the test of time, and a tree stands the test of time. You know you've got a landscape garden worthy tree.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love when you can find a cultivar that has a lot of history behind it. And I think it's really important, you know, it's up to us as propagators, nurserymen, or plant collectors to continue to see this get into production. Those of us who are in that kind of collector mindset, you know, you want to try to get some and preserve some of these older cultivars that have been around for a long time. And I think that's what's neat about this particular cultivar is you have that history behind it. You have a beautiful red upright Japanese maple that's so popular in traditional Japanese maple gardens and things like that. But really a nice tree for you guys here and a beautiful size.
Guys, we appreciate you tuning in to today's 10 at 10, man. Really awesome trees, but these are just 10 of the 20.
That's right, man. And make sure you guys come out and see us at the open house. We got an open house coming up here in Labor Day, September 1st, going to be 8 to 4. You guys come out. We got a bunch of greenhouses chock full of beautiful plants like this. We got some great size selection right now. Probably some of the best size selection we've ever had. 1s, 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s, 10s. We got a huge selection for you guys. So come out and see us.
And we also have bigger trees that we can't ship.
Yeah.
So that's a great opportunity. If you're driving out, you can get some of those bigger sizes that we're not able to put in a box and ship out to you.
That's right, man. We appreciate you guys tuning in here to today's 10 at 10. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.